Good morning to all of you dads out there. Today I kind of wanted to share something that I'd read on Focus on the Family, and it was 7 steps to child discipline. And I thought it was something that could be useful to you since that seems to be the topic that we have been talking about this month. So the first step is you want to make sure that you provide a clear warning to your child. And the reason for this is, according to them, is you don't want the child to be surprised. The child should know that in the event that he or she does something wrong, that they will be disciplined for it. So obviously this is going to require that you get that child's attention, and that can be very difficult. And so when I say that, it means you're not giving that child a verbal warning from like another room. You want to make sure that child is looking you into the eye, and he or she's acknowledging that if you mess up again, or if you do this again, or if you touch that hot pan again, that you will be disciplined. The second step to child discipline is number 2. You want to make sure that the child owns the responsibility. The child needs to understand that they made a mistake. And so as parents, we too often make the mistake by asking the child, why did you do that? And there's a lot of reasons about why this is wrong, but what it does is really gets away from the real issue. The appropriate question should be, Johnny, what is it that you did wrong? And sometimes you may need to guide the child into understanding about what he or she did wrong. Say for instance, the child sat there and went outside and wasn't supposed to, because maybe it's raining outside. And so after you gave the child a verbal warning, the child didn't listen, went outside. And so if you sit there and ask, why did you do that? Well, he wants to go out and have fun. So it kind of detracts the whole issue. But really what you're trying to get down to, the child's going to say something along the lines of, I didn't listen to you, or what did you do wrong? Well, the end result was that the child did not disobey you. And that's kind of the end result of where we want to get to. Rule number 3, and we've talked about this here before, is you want to avoid embarrassment. You want to make sure that you discipline in private and praise in public. And the reason for this is when you discipline a child out in public, say in front of friends, family, or perhaps other amongst people like in a restaurant, it really causes a lot of shame onto that child. And doing that is going to really lower their self-esteem. And for a lot of parents, they may not think that that's true, but it is. And in the end, when you cause that shame on the child, there's going to be a lot of work that to do to that child's self-esteem later on in life. And so it's just easier to just kind of pull that child to the side, say if you're at a public place to a restroom. You don't want to jerk that child and say a few ugly words along the way, but just sit there and tell the child that we're going to the restroom, let's go talk for a minute, and then you go in there and perhaps you need to spank the child if they're not listening, or verbally talk to the child. And this really depends on how old the child is. If the child is old enough to really understand, then perhaps at the dinner table in a restaurant you just tell the child that we will talk later. Or if it's a younger child, that it's something that you need to address immediately, just have the child come with you and don't make a scene. Go to the restroom and discuss with the child, and if you need to escalate to taking a toy away later, then you express that to the child. Step number 4, you want to communicate grief. You want the child to understand that you are very disappointed in them and that the decision that they made. And although you do love the child, by them disobeying you, that it really broke your heart. And rule number 5, should you have to discipline your child, you need to understand that you're not there to injure the child, but you want to deter misbehavior. That's really the ultimate goal of spanking your child. So just remember, you're not there to injure your child. So maybe a mild spanking is all you need to get the child's attention. And rule number 6 and 7, I'm going to kind of put together, but it's basically sincere repentance and then also unconditional love. So you want to make sure that the child is apologizing to who he or she needs to apologize to, and then you show that child lots of love and affection. Because when the child sits there and apologizes, say for stealing Susie's toy, he goes to Susie and he apologizes about why he stole the toy and why he shouldn't have done that. And then you want to praise that child for doing the right thing by properly apologizing, and then you want to hug and show that child that you do love them. So I hope those 7 steps that I pulled from Focus on the Family kind of helps you dads out there. And I love you guys, and remember that we are in this together.